Dead Cross, self-titled debut. Alright, it's been a little bit. Sorry for not having a couple weeks, but hopefully if you caught my vlog, which very little of you did, I've explained exactly as to why. I've been busy with other things, life in general mostly. It hits you a lot. But anyway, Dead Cross, their debut. This underground supergroup, mostly consistent of members of the Faith No More, mostly Phantomus, if we're going to go that way, given Dave Lombardo and Mike Patton, who kind of was added on to this group because the original singer left. The fact Mike Patton joined this group, despite the fact that this was a hardcore punk outing that he wanted to do, and Mike Patton's involvement, I think, added a lot more experimental ideas that may not fit the mold of what this album's supposed to do, but overall, I mean, there's not much I can talk about. This video might just be almost as short as a hardcore punk song, or a punk song in general. But overall, I enjoyed the album. I'll give it a thumbs up all the way, mostly because I do feel like it deserves it more. Deserves it a little bit more, because definitely a lot more talent has gone through this. It's just there's a certain sense of weirdness that will probably, for other people, will put this on a lower end of things. Most people are giving it kind of a 7 out of 10, and I can't say I disagree with that statement. It's just I wouldn't put it next to the Nickelback record. I feel like this record has a lot more elements of certain things in it going on for it that makes it, I think, a better album than that. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed this album. Their cover of Bela Lugosi's Dead, speaking of that, Undead, Bows, check out that video, at least near the end. Well, just not at night, because by the end of it, you'll probably never forget that face, so up close to you with the rolled over eyes. Makes Undertaker seem kind of pussy. For any of you who used to or keep up with wrestling back in the day before he retired at WrestleMania this year, rest in peace, dead man, I guess we'll say. If that is the case, I haven't caught up with it in a while. I think that was part of the reason why I decided to just stop. It's like the most fun thing about everything was gone. But anyway, I'm not talking about that. We're talking about Dead Cross' new album. Mike Patton, of course. Any of you who've been involved with me since Facebook have already known I am a fan of at least Faith No More. I have yet to show you that I'm a fan of Mr. Bungle, and at some point I may check out Phantomus and Tomahawk, but I was kind of like leery on post-90s Mike Patton stuff for the most part. But though the new Faith No More record, of course, was actually pretty damn good. It definitely was a grower. This album, I don't know if it will grow on most people. It may take a while to do that, but I definitely I enjoyed it. I think Shillelagh is probably one of the more interesting tracks to me. At least his vocal delivery of Patton's Shillelagh is great. I just love the weirdness of this man, and it definitely comes off more like a metal record as opposed to a hardcore punk record. If anything, most people would probably consider horror punk or of the more goth rock variety. And that's kind of sort of in the sense of Bela Lugosi's Dead, but like I said, that cover definitely stands out. Some people will say in a bad way, but to me, I think if you are a fan of whatever Patton does, I think you will like and appreciate, and even maybe the original from Bauhaus, which has been a while since I've heard that track. At least not since the Stevens Untitled Rock Show days. Any of you who used to watch Fuse back in the day, you know what I'm talking about. But yes, I don't know if I can recommend this for everybody. Especially when you have one of your tracks is called Church of the Mother Effers. So yeah, I can't really that's where it gets a little obvious, but other than that, I do dig this record. For the most part, it does seem to show off its hardcore punk roots, but it seems the metal elements that are far more obvious given the membership of this band, especially Dave Lombardo, and his deep, and a lot of his there's more D-beat style drum beat and whatnot than that of a hardcore style drum beat. I'll say that much about it. But yeah, I'd say Shillelagh is probably the most hardcore punk in terms of the instrumentation. That I think if you are a hardcore fan, if you want something that works, that also kind of that still works with the band, I feel like this is a good debut. And if the band wants to continue, hopefully they can re-harness more of their hardcore punk style at their core, and maybe harness some of their own influences a lot better, because this is a debut. Patton was kind of thrown in to the group last minute, so he didn't really have enough time to really hone in what the band wanted to sound like, or at least what Dave's idea was. So, and that does show it to a certain degree, and I guess some of the weirdness of it. I mean, it's kind of a Frank Zappa situation to some people, or anything usually you would expect from Mike Patton that isn't Faith No More, and it's like, to a degree, if you're not a musician, you're not going to get it. Or if you're not a fan of this style, or just the pure noise rock elements of influences as well that come in, that's what I think. There's some noise rock and definitely some more extreme metal elements layered in on top of the hardcore punk, that it doesn't allow those elements throughout most of the album to breathe, but it doesn't keep it from being harder to listen to, or at least not somewhat palatable. But overall, again, like I said, thumbs up all the way. Part of me wants to say it rocks all the way, but I can't lie and say that I can recommend this to anybody that isn't at least a Patton fan or a Lombardo fan, or at least has an interest in... It's not going to change the face of hardcore punk, because it's not initially fully hardcore punk, because there's like I said, the elements of what you'd expect from noise rock or avant-garde metal, even of the more extreme variety, is definitely in here. And especially when Patton's vocals are just all over the place, there's more growls than I would say shouts. And it's just, that's kind of what it is to me. It's a nice listen for what it is all around, and it's definitely looking forward to what this project will hopefully blossom forward, if given a chance for the band to mature and actually, get their crap together, particularly their craft, more specifically. And other than that, I enjoyed this album, and hopefully, you guys enjoyed the Dead Cross album too, if you are a Patton fan, or even a Lombardo fan, or mostly a Phantomus fan, maybe. I'd like to hear their stuff, and maybe if I do, maybe I might see some of those elements far more laced over with this album. And I think maybe a lot of other people who are fans of Phantomus might see that as well, especially given Dave's drumming, Lombardo's drumming, and Patton's vocals style techniques. But overall, what did you guys think about it? Leave a comment below, let me know. Rock that like button with thrust if you must. And as always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rockin'. And hopefully I will see you in the next video, which, well, those next videos will probably be late. Not gonna lie, they'll be late because, watch the one video, you'll understand. I might do more, or at least give more updates next time. Who knows? Take care, y'all.